Almost a week's work. But I think it was worth it.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, it was that bad accident out on Townsend Road that got me started.
One Monday? What was the name?
Miller.
That was a bad one.
Almost every fatal crash has a reason. That's what got me. When I was out there covering the story that day, the only clue I got was, maybe this sounds silly, was that there'd been some kind of upset in the Miller family earlier that day. Some little thing went wrong. That's all I had to go on at first. I decided to start with the funeral. On my way over to the church, I happened to pass the Townsend Road intersection. There certainly weren't any answers to be found there. The wreckage had long since been taken away. Even the skid marks were gone now. I had made sure the flagman was on duty at the time. The road had been dry, the weather clear. Everyone who'd been in the vicinity had told his story, and there was nothing in any of it to explain why.
The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen.
In the church, I was thinking that every driver on every road is absolutely sure this could never happen to him. But it does happen. And in a case like this, you wonder why. Why? There had to be a reason, a cause. Maybe somewhere among the friends of the Miller family, I could find the answer. I kept going back in my mind to the Miller family as it was before the tragedy. First, there was Mike Miller, age 52, a railroad man for over 20 years. Foreman of an engine crew. In his spare time, he loved to go fishing, especially for trout. Had a camper trailer that was his pride and joy. He and the family went up in the hills every chance they got. Then there was Mike's daughter, Katie, age 12, junior high school. Bright girl and a pretty one, as the boys at school were beginning to notice. There was Ethel Miller, Mike's wife. She ran the house and the garden and a couple of women's clubs in her spare time. Finally, there was Bud. He was 22, studying to be a veterinarian at college. He was paying part of his own way at school by driving a delivery truck for Rand Brothers after school every day. An average family, a good family, the kind you want to have for friends, the kind for whom you wish somehow the clock could have been stopped that morning, with everything held just the way it was. Just the way it was. For there wasn't a clue that something was coming. Coming out of the blue on the wings of small events that in themselves were just nothing at all. I had the names of everyone who'd been in contact with the Millers that fateful day. The first one was a highway patrolman named Del Kuhn. Officer Kuhn, Don Patterson, Valley Times.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Yes, 8:17 a.m. on Highway 19.
Can you remember exactly what happened?
Well, I was on routine patrol on Highway 19, and I clocked him at 62 miles an hour in a 50-mile zone over near the railroad yards. I had a pretty good idea this man was a railroader, maybe a little bit late for work that morning. I'd been giving a lot of warnings along this part of the highway lately, and I figured maybe it was about time to stop warning and start writing tickets. I remember he growled a little, something about driving this stretch of road every day for 5 years and never getting a ticket before. But I kept on writing.
Miller complained a little, did he?
Oh yeah, most people do.
But he wasn't really angry.
No, a little peeved at himself perhaps, but he knew he was in the wrong.
So he just took the ticket and went on his way.
That's right, that's all there was to it.
The next one on my list was Andy Kimball. He was Bud Miller's classmate at the School of Veterinary Medicine. He'd been with Bud that Monday morning. If there'd been anything unusual, he'd know. Andy? Don Patterson, Valley Times. I'm trying to find some reason, some cause for what happened Monday. Will you help?
Just one of those things, I guess, wasn't it?
Maybe. What did you and Bud Miller talk about that morning? Do you recall?
Sure, I remember. We were talking about going to Cornell a week from today.
Cornell University, back east?
They're holding a national conference of scientists in our field.
I see.
Well, they're picking the top students from some of the Western universities to go. And they told Bud and me Monday morning that we'd been picked. We'd never been east, either of us. It's going to be a great trip.
So you didn't know until after you got to school that Monday morning that you were going?
Oh, we'd been hoping all along, but we didn't get the word until Monday.
So you and Bud then were all set to go?
Oh, sure. Well, all we needed was some money for 2 weeks' living expenses and maybe some side trips. Bud said he was a little short, but that his dad would lend him some money.
Then when you were with Bud that morning, everything was okay with him? He was feeling fine?
He was on top of the world. You never know when the sky's gonna fall in on you, do you?
The next one I went to see was John McFarland. He was assistant terminal superintendent, Mike Miller's boss. He'd worked with Mike every day for years, and I figured he must have known him like a book.
So, you're Don Patterson. Well, I read your safety articles every week. Darn good. Keep it up.
I'm glad you like them, Mr. McFarland. I'm trying...
No, it's Mac. Just plain Mac.
Okay, Mac. I want to talk about Miller.
Oh?
I'm going back over that day, that Monday, reconstructing. You saw Miller here that morning, like every other morning, didn't you?
Well, sure.
Was it a normal, average morning, or did anything out of the ordinary take place?
You, must have heard about our little beef.
Beef? No, I didn't.
Well, it was nothing. But it's been on my mind, I can tell you. All right. Mike came in a little bit late that morning. I heard later that he'd just gotten a ticket for speeding. A $25 fine. But anyway, he came in. I was busy. He just went to work like he always does. Then, long about 11 o'clock, I got a call from the grain elevator. We're in the Sam Hill R. grain car. Supposed to be here the first thing. Crews standing around waiting for him. I looked out the window. There was their string, setting. I looked down the line. There goes Mike and his engine with lumber cars for the mill. About 40 minutes later, back he comes. So I went out to talk to him. Mike, what the devil are those grain cars sitting out there for? Didn't you have them lined up for spotting first thing this morning?
Yeah, one of the first. We spotted Brooks and the lumber cars. We'll get the grain cars right after lunch.
After lunch? What are they supposed to do with their men? Take a vacation?
Oh, now, wait a minute.
That's what everybody's doing, waiting on you.
On me? Oh, I'm laying off. I don't feel so good anyway.
Okay.
And get yourself a new engine foreman.
All right. The way you've been acting, I don't want you around here today anyway. So, Mike took off, went home.
How long would you expect him to be off the job?
A good man like Mike, back the next day, good as new.
No real problems?
We're all human, son. And nobody is more human than a railroad man.
By now, I had accounted for the family up to just before noon. And there was a pattern developing, bit by bit. Not yet clear, but already ominous. At this point, a girl named Judy Harrison entered the story. She and Katie Miller were best friends, rode to school together, studied together, went to each other's homes for lunch in good weather. On that Monday, Judy, you and Katie Miller went to her house for lunch, didn't you?
Our mothers took turns giving us a hot lunch.
Tell me about Monday.
Well, we met outside the gym like always, got our bikes and went to her house. Oh my! Katie stopped by the roses. One of her mother's chickens had gotten out of the pen and Katie went to catch it.
How was Katie that morning?
You mean, was she sick or something?
No, depressed, something on her mind?
No, not at first, not until later.
Later?
When Mr. Miller came home.
Oh? Her dad?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
Dad! Oh, Dad, how could you?
I've told you 50 times never to leave that bike lying around.
I just laid it down. I was coming right back.
Never mind what you're going to do. Oh, look at that.
You drove in too fast.
What did you say?
Katie, don't talk back to your father. Now you two get inside. Your lunch is on the table. Go on now.
Maybe they can fix it, Katie.
Oh, dear.
I don't understand how Mr. Miller could have done it.
Oh?
The bike was lying there in plain sight, but he ran over it as if he didn't even see it, and yelling at Katie that way.
Yelling?
I never knew him to do that, ever.
Now I had the Miller story up to the noon hour. I'd been told that at 1:30 that day, Mike Miller had paid a visit to the medical center. He'd called on a Dr. McConville, whom he'd known for several years.
Yes, I treated Mr. Miller that day. For a badly bruised shoulder. The x-ray for fracture was negative, just muscle damage. I put the arm in a sling just as a precaution.
Do you know how he hurt himself?
Oh, yes, he told me about it. It seems he has one of those camper trailers parked at his house. One of the tires had gone flat, and after lunch he jacked it up, put a block under it, and took the wheel off. But the ground wasn't solid and the block tilted. And he put his shoulder under the edge of the trailer and tried to inch it forward to set the block straight and hold it.
Judgment is affected, you mean?
And when you realize the stupid thing you've done, you're sometimes you get madder than ever.
You're in a very unsafe condition then.
A dangerous condition, because only half your mind is on what you're doing.
Now I had the Miller family accounted for up to mid-afternoon. One of the last persons to talk with any of them before the accident was Leroy Hackett. His service station was about a mile from the Miller home. Bud had come in for gas that Monday afternoon.
Yes, Bud came in with the Rand Company truck about 4 o'clock. He was just starting his deliveries.
Did you notice anything different about him?
Different? Say, are you a reporter or some kind of insurance investigator or what?
A reporter. You can call my editor if you like.
Well,
I'm just trying to help other people avoid something like this.
just so you aren't trying to make out a case against any of the Millers.
Oh, nothing like that.
Okay. What can I tell you?
Anything you can remember about Bud Miller that afternoon would be helpful.
Well, he was a little different. Ordinarily, Bud was just as nice and easygoing a fellow as you'd find. That day, he was bothered. In his mind. And pretty upset. I asked him what the trouble was. Could I help? He said nobody could help. So, we talked for a few minutes, and gradually he told me what the trouble was. He got home from college about 3:40, like always, to pick up the delivery truck and start his rounds. He'd had some good news at school.
Hey, Dad, I'm going to... What happened? What happened to you?
Oh, I was trying to fix the trailer. I don't get much help around here, you know. I'm lucky I didn't break some bones.
Well, couldn't you wait for me to give you a hand?
Yeah, that'd have been a long wait.
Hey, Dad, they picked me to go to Cornell. I've got my substitute driver all lined up to take my route, and all I need is a small set.
Look, you may be all set, but I got things coming on me like Job's boils. Your sister left her 65 on the road where I couldn't help running over. I'm all banged up. I got trouble on the job, so don't think everything's roses.
Dad, I need some money for this trip. If you'd let me have it, I'd pay you back this summer.
The answer is no.
Dad!
You can't leave now anyway with me like this. We gotta have an able-bodied man around the place, you know that.
Are you saying I can't go?
Oh, go drive your truck.
So, when Bud drove in here, I knew there was something bothering him. So I asked him, and he told me. That's about it. Does it help you any? Think you can really find out why it happened?
Yes, sir. I think I know now.
I've had some bad days, but nothing like that, thank heaven.
Want to hear the last part of it?
I wouldn't miss it.
This is the statement I got from little Jimmy Rand, age 11, at the hospital.
Jimmy Rand? How'd he get in the story?
He's the son of the man Bud Miller worked for. Liked to ride with Bud.
Oh.
This is Jimmy's statement. Bud let me ride with him whenever I asked him. My dad didn't mind. He liked Bud a lot.
Monday afternoon, I was waiting for him at the store. I noticed right away that Bud didn't look the way he usually did. I mean, he looked angry. When he got the truck loaded, we started out. At first, I thought maybe he didn't want me with him. But then I thought, he's not mad at me. He's mad at somebody else. So I didn't say anything. I waited for him to stop being mad at whoever it was. We stopped by the high school and picked up Bud's sister. We had never done that before, but Katie's bike had been wrecked, and she wanted to ride downtown. As soon as she got in, they began talking to each other, very loud. Katie was angry about her bike. Bud was upset about something called Coronel. Then Katie got upset about Coronel too. Bud said it was a chance of a lifetime, and now he couldn't go. Katie said that was awful, just awful. Then just as we came up to the Townsend Road...
You know what he told me? He said, go drive your truck.
It's a red light! It's a flagman! Look out!
I got a full statement from Jimmy at the hospital. We missed the truck all right, but we couldn't stop. I ducked and was thrown forward under the dashboard. My dad says that's why I'm alive today. Bud and Katie were thrown out, and they died. I started on this story to find a reason. And here's what I think. Bud didn't see the flagman. He was looking without seeing, driving without thinking, because his mind was distracted.
My own boy is just his age. How about the father? He must have felt as if his heart had been cut out.
I drove around there yesterday, toward evening. But I couldn't bring myself to knock on the door. I could see Mrs. Miller in there, sitting and staring, and Mike Miller like a man who had lost all reason for living.